The definition of regret is feeling sad, repentant, or disappointed over something that has happened or been done, especially a loss or missed opportunity, which is something that many of us do upon starting a new gacha game or any game in general. My name is Mikey, and today we will be going over things I wish I had known before I hit Internaut 50 on Zenless Zone Zero. So let's dive right into it. A ranks are just as, if not more important than S ranks when building your teams. Now when I say this, I don't mean that Jane Doe, for example, is going to be a worse character to field than Piper. What I'm trying to say is picture you had Mindscape 6 Piper and it's currently the Jane Doe banner, but you wanted to invest into the long term and wait for Yanagi. Well, you could field the Mindscape 6 Piper as a placeholder for the time being, so you could fill that slot later with a different character. There's also the instance if you lose a 50-50 or you go onto your standard banner and obtain a new S-ranked agent that doesn't fit in the current team that you have. Like, you can't replace Ching-Yi with Kolita if you want to keep a great stun character on your team, especially if most of your team is made up of electric units and you are trying to fit in a mismatched character type. Sometimes it's easier to cut your losses and move on. You can also go back to this character later on when you get better units to build around them. Another thing you could do with that character is fit them into your second team and show you defense or other in-game content material. And then there is also Mindscape Cinema benefits of the A-rank characters as well. Let's take into consideration when you are summoning for a specific character, whether that is on the limited banner or the standard banner, you will always summon a lot more A-ranked characters before obtaining that S-ranked character. Let's take Nicole for example. Her Mindscape Cinema 6 will make it so that when Nicole's energy field deals damage to the enemy, all squad members on your current team will be granted a crit rate buff against that enemy that is increased by 1.5%, stacking up to 10 times and lasting 12 seconds with every stack being calculated separately. Now, there is not many ether type characters in Zenless Zone Zero at this point of time as far as 1.3 goes, but say if there was an S tier type of support character, maybe consider using a Mindscape Cinema 6 Nicole over them because of specific buffs that Nicole may have. Just a reminder as well that I only gave you details about 1 out of 6 of her Mindscape Cinema buffs, so there could be more that Nicole could provide to your team over an S-ranked character. Which brings me into the next topic. You must research your characters. And listen, now I'm not going to be the one to tell who you should and shouldn't summon because it is your account and your gacha game experience. However, if you're going to summon Bernice because you love her as a character, you can at least read the benefits of actually having her on your account. Go to the character skills and actually shuffle through what each one does and make sure you 100% always check each and every character's core skill because that is very important for when you are building around that character when making teams. For example, under Bernice's core skill, she receives an additional ability called Fire Kindling. This will help not only Bernice's fire anomaly buildup increase by 65%, but when another squad member applies the burn effect to an enemy, the duration will extend by 3 seconds, which can be a core difference in dealing more damage and building a more formidable team. Quick tip, when coming to the team selection screen, you can see here there are smiles next to all my characters' names, and that is because they all work together to activate their additional ability. You can also read quickly what each character on my team's additional ability does by clicking the smile icon in the top right corner of your screen. This way you can play a game of match and see which characters will benefit the most off each other when building your teams, so that way you can maximize the most out of your S tier and A tier ranked characters. So this topic kind of goes hand in hand with topic number 1. I am sure most of you guys heard creators talk about rotations, but what exactly is a rotation? Well, let's take the first 2 topics into consideration here. If you have done the proper research and built a really strong team that is super compatible with each other, you can take it to the next level with rotations. So in short form, a rotation is basically giving each character on your team presence in the current battle to output the most damage possible. In short form, not just sitting there aimlessly rotating through your characters and applying X specials and attacking randomly or just sitting there button mashing the attack button. Instead, make a step-by-step plan on when to pop each character's abilities, how long each character is going to stay on the field, and who is going to pop the burst or their ultimate ability. There's a lot that goes into it, but for the sake of this being a things I wish I knew guide, I will keep it short and sweet. If you are having trouble with rotations, there's a lot of other guides out there going into depth about character rotations. And that's why in topic number 2, I said it's very important to understand what each and every character is benefiting towards your current team, because this will overall help the gameplay experience and help you clear those hard and difficult enemies. But at the end of the day, play the game how you would like to play the game. But I will say rotations are a game changer and you should try and learn them because it makes a major difference. When you log on and are getting ready for your daily grind session on Zenless Zone Zero, you really should just be at 0 energy as much as possible. Or as a matter of fact, you should be at all times. Now I do not mean go out of your way and just spend all of your ether battery because materials are much more scarce. What I mean is the energy that builds up over time. You must even use all that backup battery energy because it is all free to use. So whether you want to farm XP materials or you want to try and get lucky and roll for discs to help build your characters better, it doesn't matter as long as you keep that energy as low as possible. Honestly, that's why I like spending it as soon as I log on, because then it builds up while I'm doing other things throughout the game. Also, spending that energy levels up the battle pass or the new Eridu City fund the quickest. minutes, as far as I know. I don't believe there's really anything else that does it quicker than spending energy. And that is also because, especially in Zenless Zone Zero, the dailies are rather quicker than other gacha games. So realistically, you're spending maybe 10 to 12 minutes doing all your dailies before you're actually done. And when I say dailies, I mean your energy as well. Because if we disinclude using your energy, then the dailies would realistically take only 3 minutes. You guys must spend time with your favorite agents, or rather the ones you use most in combat. If you did not know, you actually can obtain a cool background when getting any agent to level 4 trust, which is cool to switch things up if we do not want to rock the default home screen of Bell and Wise. Also, there's actually more benefits this gets you besides that. You can also obtain a total of 60 polychrome per character, and for Hollow Zero, you could gain a companionship badge, which triggers special events that gives the team an advantage within the Hollow Zero if you are struggling. This always can be obtained after you clear the floor within the Hollow Zero, but sometimes you may get unlucky and not get it. But the more characters you have on your team with the trust level up, the higher the possibility. Also, through the trust system rank, you could obtain a new title that you can put on your player card. And this is another way to flex to your friends list the character that you pulled and how much they trust you. So you can rub it in those friends' faces that lost the 50-50 to Jane Doe and other cool characters. Speaking of the Hollow Zero, there are obtainable credits within the Hollow Zero called Z merits and investigation merits. With these merits, you can actually go outside the Scott's outpost and obtain free standard banner summons, Bupon, reserved relics, hi-fi master copies, tuning calibrators, and W engine chips, which are all pretty useful materials to have. Now, I am personally really upset about this one because the outpost actually resets, and I did not know this. I could have been obtaining free rewards over time. I personally was under the misconception that this was a one and done thing. However, upon discovery, I was very wrong. So make sure you are coming here at least once every refresh and getting these free rewards. So you guys do remember at the beginning of this video when I was talking about using A-ranked agents over S-ranked? Well, you can actually buy A-ranked W engines from the gadget store, which can be really useful for those of you who are using A-ranked agents on your team compositions, or simply if you want to use A-ranked W engines for your S-ranked W limited banner characters that you didn't really obtain the W engine for, or whatever the case may be. It is just good to know that there's available A-ranked W engines available at the gadget store. Or if you need these W engines as a placeholder so you do not have to use the B-ranked W engines, feel free to do that as well. Okay, so when we were talking about the Hollow Zero rewards, we mentioned tuning calibrators. I would highly suggest doing your best saving these as they are very hard to obtain and you barely get any. Tuning calibrators help you pick the main stat of a disc and can be very valuable when building characters. You can obtain these at the end of the battle pass or, as I mentioned before, through the Hollow Zero. I recommend mostly saving these for your favorite characters and your strongest ones as they will be helpful when building them. Zenless Zone Zero, in my opinion, really has a very difficult character building system, so use these on your favorite characters and your strongest ones. Now, where do we actually use these calibrators at? Well, we use them at the music store, and it's also very important that you guys know about the music store. Here, you'll be able to gain lots of really good discs to help boost your character stats to the max. Now, like I just mentioned before, you do want to save the tuning calibrators as they are very scarce and you want to use those when you feel like building a character you are going to use all the time. I would also personally recommend saving up to do the advanced tuning the most, as that's the most important because you want to get the S rank discs. You can do this by going to your storage and crafting more hi-fi master copies. They cost more to summon on the advanced tuning, but it is well worth it. You can also dismantle unwanted discs to obtain more materials that you can use for crafting materials, but do be careful because you want the bare minimum out of your characters, so make sure they at least have decent stats before doing this, because once you dismantle them, there is no going back. Much like the merit shop, the weekly challenges reset as well, and they also do not require energy to do. You need to be doing these weekly challenges so that way you can upgrade your agent's skills. So even if you do not exactly need these materials, you probably will down the line. So I would recommend actually doing this every week to stack up on materials, at least for future characters. If you are consistently playing this game, you should always just bang out the limited time events, as they are free rewards you can obtain, and if you don't, they will disappear and it is a missed opportunity. If you are free to play as well, this is very important for you to do so you can maximize the amount of summons you could obtain in total, because it is already hard enough knowing you can obtain every single character in the game without spending money. Also, every W engine as well. Now, I know for the most part, most of us hate doing side missions. However, all this clutter can be really annoying at times. I suggest clearing up the side missions as frequently as possible. You can actually go throughout the map and run through all the blue icons while you're doing your dailies for the day, or when you are doing the agent invitations that I mentioned earlier in this video, because as it is, you might as well just run through all the side missions that are currently prompted throughout the map while doing the agent invitations. It really just makes everything everything easier this way, and if I had done this at the beginning, I wouldn't have so many blue icons to have to go around and collect. Also, with the recently added Day of Change system, this makes this a lot easier if you are just focusing on getting rid of all those side missions. I mean, realistically, this one's just a personal take, but if you're one of those players that just want to bang everything else out, I mean, at least you have the side missions there to occupy yourself if you need pity polychrome, or if you're just bored out of your mind because there's nothing really to do and you're caught up with everything. Well, that is all I have for today, guys. If you did learn something new, smash the subscribe button down below and leave a like, as it is always appreciated. Also, comment your thoughts. I would love to hear them. That is all for now, guys. Peace out.